I'm going to be discussing three different price scenarios when it comes to Jasmy that I have, or should I say that I'm thinking about currently in an event where maybe let's say there is a fully fledged type of altcoin season during this cycle, but only time will tell and nothing I say is financial advice. However, even besides all that, the first one I want to take a look at is maybe the idea of 20 cents, which is around a 13x from here, and market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be nearly 10 billion. Now, why wouldn't this maybe surprise me? It's because I like the fundamentals of Jasmy. Jasmy is heavily focused on decentralizing data storage. If we take a look at the data storage market, according to Fortune Business Insights, it is predicted to be worth nearly $800 billion by 2030. I don't think it's such a bad thing to be focused on in the grand scheme of things. Sure, it may not be the most popular, but I still find it cool nonetheless. And some people out there may be thinking, okay, but Jasmy isn't really doing much. Well, let's take a look at, for instance, right? Look at the idea of Junction. Now, this is supposedly an incubation project under Jasmy. It's a layer 2 for decentralized AI. And supposedly, this allows users to share their GPU, or should I say graphic processing unit, resources for rendering, let's say, AI tasks. So I think it's pretty cool. And if I take a look at Jasmy, again, having these other elements to it, so to speak, in the kind of grand scheme of things, I think it's pretty awesome because if we take a look at the AI market, for instance, it is predicted to be worth nearly $2 trillion by 2030, according to Grandview Research. So again, I find that pretty cool. And also, when I take a look at Jasmy, supposedly, it is the first ever legally compliant cryptocurrency in the country of Japan. So I find that, again, pretty impressive in the grand scheme of things. And also, not to mention, when I take a look at Jasmy's team, there are individuals there, right, who used to work at places like Sony. So I find that very impressive. So overall, I like Jasmy. I think it's focused on the right markets. I like the team. I like the whole vibe. I like the exchange listings, and I like the community. So arguably, if there is a fully fledged type of altcoin season, the idea of, let's say, 20 cents wouldn't necessarily surprise me. Now, the second one I want to talk about is 23 cents. Now, around a 15x from here, and market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be around 11.3 billion. And the reason why this wouldn't necessarily surprise me is because we saw like Shiba Inu back in 2021 pretty much exceed that market cap by around 30 billion. And again, I'm not necessarily saying that this is kind of like such an outlandish thing. This is the way I take a look at it, but only time will tell. But just again, the market cap doesn't seem too ridiculous to me. Now, if I take a look at the idea of maybe 25 cents, around a 16.5x from here, and market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply would be around 12.3 billion. You know, when I take a look at, for instance, over 600 million crypto owners supposedly right now, which is more than ever before in history, allegedly. I take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF. If, let's say, there is a fully fledged type of altcoin season during this cycle, with all those factors, you know, again, 25 cents wouldn't really surprise me. Again, considering those factors, right? But when I take a look at kind of the timeline that I'm thinking about, the last Bitcoin halving event happened in April of 2024, and I've seen how usually altcoins, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. So 18 months from that is October this year. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen at the time. I mean, it could very well even happen in like 2026, somewhere around Q1 of that time, like let's say January, February, or March. But whenever the timeline is, I just want to stay prepared by just dollar cost averaging, holding, and just waiting. That's it. It's a waiting game for me. I'm not telling them to do anything when it comes to Jasmy, but this is just my outlook when it comes to this. And I'm just staying patient and just waiting. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.